This just in, there was a wild animal spotted right here in Cleveland. Rumors are continuing to swirl about LeBron James and his connection to coming back to Cleveland for one more stint before he hangs it up and calls it for good. And I want to talk a little bit more about this because more news has broke. And to do this, while Eric's enjoying his vacation, I brought in a dear friend of mine, a fellow content creator here on YouTube. That is my boy BenchWarmerSports. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course. And I want to just get into the meat and potatoes. Let's do the damn thing. LeBron James, is he coming back to Cleveland? Yes or no, in your opinion?
I am 80-20% sure that he is coming back. I think that it is more likely than not that he's coming back. And I just think there's too much evidence to show that he wants to come back. I think it's pretty clear he wants to come back and retire a Cleveland Cavalier in 2027.
I hope you're right, man, because the energy around this would be great, especially when you get into some of the breaking news that has gone on since the last time I sat down on the page with Eric and talked about LeBron and his potential to come to Cleveland. And I think the main part of this is the Jaylen Brown trade, right? We
Mhm.
sat down here and talked a ton about how Jaylen Brown could make sense to be added to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We were going to touch on it here in this episode, and then a blockbuster hits, and the Boston Celtics trade Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks, which to me is an interesting proposition there because it just makes the top teams in the East even better, in my opinion. So, what do you think this trade itself means for the Cavs, and what do you think it means for the prospects of LeBron coming home to Cleveland yet again?
Well, I think that this really shows that the Cavs are pretty much limited to what they can do in terms of getting forwards, especially athletic forwards on the wing. That's been something that they have not been able to really do since trading away Lowry Markkinen in the Donovan Mitchell trade. And I've been saying that for the last 5 years, where we have been forced to watch Isaac Okoro or Dean Wade be our starting small forward for the past 4 years. And we got a little bit of reprieve when we traded for DeAndre Hunter last season, or 2 seasons now ago, I guess. And we sort of thought that, okay, you get DeAndre Hunter, he's in his prime. You think that, he's going to be able to be on this team for another couple of years. Turns out he turned into one of the worst players in the NBA last season statistically. Not even being hyperbolic, he was one of the worst statistical players in the NBA. But yeah, now with Jaylen Brown off the market, in my opinion, I think he was 1B in terms of my target after Giannis. But now, I mean, with the Cavs, I mean, obviously, they lose a lot of guys now in free agency. I mean, Keon Ellis is gone now. Dean Wade signed with the Sixers, so now he's going to be with Jaylen Brown in Philly. And so now there's just not a lot of wing depth on a team that already had problems with wing depth. So now you have what, Jalen Tyson as your number 3 right now, and
Yeah.
this is why I told you earlier today or yesterday that I'm not, and this might be a controversial take. I know a lot of people may not like this, but I was not really on board with just bringing LeBron in alone. He's 42, and I think a lot of people have rose tinted glasses in terms of the player that LeBron was. I think Jason Lloyd was on, they were talking about on UCSS earlier today, and Jason Lloyd said, oh, well, if LeBron comes here, the Cavs are automatically the favorites to go to the finals. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, no. Like, LeBron is still a good player. He's still very good. You would rather have LeBron on your team than not, right? I think everybody
Yeah.
can say that. Obviously, he's the best player in franchise history, but at 42 years old, like, he's not the same player as he once was. So that's why I wanted, if they could have brought in Jaylen Brown with LeBron, I would have been 100% happy. But now, I mean, you look at the rest of the free agency market and what's out there. I mean, it's Jonathan Kaminga.
Yeah, that's the big name aside from LeBron at this point to bring in. I want to touch on a little bit more of what you're saying in terms of should LeBron be the only move the Cleveland Cavaliers make into this season. But first, let's take a break and listen to a word from our sponsors over at Rambler Reserve.
At the Office is brought to you by Rambler Reserve.
And we're wearing the hats right now.
We are wearing the hats right now, and honestly, this might be one of the best looking things I've put on my head in years.
Rambler Reserve is a Cleveland apparel brand based on history for people who love this city and just can't shut up about it.
So, us?
Us, exactly. Whether it be hats, tees, hoodies, you're going to the game, or you're going to the Muni lot. It's perfect apparel for any Cleveland fan out there.
If your friends say you ramble too much about sports, just own it. Head on over to RamblerReserve.com and use code ATO10 to get 10% off your order.
That's ATO10, ATO like at the office 10, RamblerReserve.com. All right, I want to dive back into this because I have a rebuttal for you and I have a different thought process as to what you're saying because I understand what you're talking about. I understand about the age of LeBron, him not being the same player he was, say, when he was in Cleveland last time or even at the beginning of his run with the Lakers. I understand that and I comprehend that. But in the other side of this, I think a big issue that I've had personally with the Cleveland Cavaliers for quite some time now is the mentality. The team's too young. The team has never won. They don't understand. They don't get what they need to do to get across the finish line and win a championship. You bring a guy in at a position of need at small forward who has won championships, who has done it here in the city where we did not think he could win a damn championship ever, and take care of business and teach these guys how to win and give that mentality to a guy like Evan Mobley, who we've been waiting to be unlocked for quite some time now, and give that mentality to a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who you can tell wants it, but doesn't know the whole puzzle pieces and how to put the puzzle together yet. To me, bringing in LeBron could be the smart move where you don't have to worry about blowing up the four guys that you invested in James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and of course, Jared Allen. You bring him in, he fits this team flawlessly in a way in terms of being that fifth starter, and that's how you get this team to move from point A to point B to cross the finish line and get this championship. Now, is that wishful thinking still with how strong the East is? I understand that thought process as well. But to me, I think this could be and might be the smart way for them to go about it without having to completely blow up everything and completely make massive changes where they can still add a star to this roster in a way that most teams can't because they don't have the relationship with LeBron James like we do.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and listen, on the Evan Mobley front, I was Evan Mobley FC 100% stan, all that stuff, okay? So you're talking to one of the original founders of Evan Mobley FC. We've been doing the same song and dance with Evan Mobley for the last 6 years now.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I know, and it's like, yeah, LeBron coming in, obviously you would rather have LeBron. I think, again, the mentality that he can bring to this team would be amazing, and I agree with you on that. But again, he's 42 years old. He's at the tail end of his career. We saw in Los Angeles where he, no Luka, no Austin Reeves. He was able to win against the Rockets in the first round. But when you get up against, Oklahoma City and again, like the upper echelon teams of the NBA, he doesn't have it in him anymore to single-handedly carry a team. And I'm not saying he's going to have to carry the Cavaliers, but like we have to be honest here. James Harden is not the 2018 James Harden. He's not the MVP.
True.
Everything went down in terms of production, statistically with him when he got here to Cleveland. Like what you said with Donovan, he's got the mentality. I think he's got a championship mentality. He's just not talented enough to take a team to the next level. I often refer to him as like sort of a Dame Lillard comparison in his career where he's able to get a team to the Western Conference Finals or to the conference finals, but he's not going to beat, the Golden State in Dame Lillard's case. Like Donovan is not going to be able to take you to an NBA Finals as the number one option. That's just not possible. And again, I feel like with the Evan Mobley thing, and even Jared Allen, like we've been asking them to just get aggressive, just turn into this killer mentality, all this stuff. Now, yeah, if LeBron's here, would they maybe be able to, tap into that? Would having LeBron here, go zero dark 23 or whatever he does in the postseason, would that help
Right.
them? Sure, yeah. But it's like we've been saying this for like the last 6 years, and at some point, I think we just all have to realize that it's just not in these guys' DNA. Like Evan Mobley, he's a good player, very good. He's not a killer guy. He's not Draymond where he's gonna like sucker punch everybody. He's just gonna be like he's gonna yell at you, say and one, and then he's like, hey man, are you okay? Like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. Are you okay? He's gonna check up on people. That's just my opinion though.
And I agree with that to an extent as well, but I think we saw flashes of a different type of mentality for both Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in this playoff run. I mean, Game 7 Jared Allen was a joke. BHM Jared Allen was also a joke, but it was a real thing. I mean, we saw that,
Sure.
how he played. Same thing with Evan Mobley. I think he stepped up at times when we needed someone to step up, even when Donovan Mitchell wasn't contributing in the ways that we expect Donovan Mitchell to contribute as the number one. I think bringing in a guy like LeBron James makes it easier for these guys to step up into their roles, whether it be Donovan Mitchell being the main scorer, whether it be Evan Mobley progressing in terms of his game into having more of a three-point shot or being more aggressive or doing the things that we think Evan Mobley can do and might still be able to do. I want to remind everybody, and I was on the Jaylen Brown trade and I was on the Giannis trade, but I want to remind everybody that Evan Mobley is still super young. Like, we're not talking about him even being near that window yet of being in his prime. So as much as we want him to have it all put together right now in this very moment because of this window, that's not where he is. He's still super young, and maybe that's an argument to still go out there and trade him if there's a trade out there. But if they keep him and they can piece together a good mentality. Like, I see the vision. There was a point in time where we didn't think Jalen Brunson could be the best player on a championship winning team. And last I checked, we were a part of a story where Jalen Brunson ended up being the main piece on a championship winning team. And as much as that hurt my soul, I know that hurt your soul. That's what happened this season. So I think things can change and perspective can change. I think roster change needs to happen. I think for better, for worse, we've seen that now. You mentioned Keon Ellis. You mentioned Dean Wade. Both of those guys are obviously gone. So that's already a part of roster change there. It seems like we're kind of going to tap into some of these younger guys in terms of bench depth. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. We don't know what the roster construction is going to look like yet. It's still too early in free agency and with this whole LeBron thing looming. But I think changes in terms of the back end roster and additions to LeBron might be enough to make this team competitive or top 3 competitive in the East. Like, I know Kawhi's in the East now. That was another name that we kind of talked about here on the page a little bit. And I think me and you in DMs as well. But LeBron on top of this roster that we know is talented. It is a very talented roster. To me, could be the answer to move forward in a way that we feel good about, in his last year, maybe 2 years, going out there and getting one more ring, adding 5 to his legacy and adding another one to Cleveland's.
This is where I feel like we have the rose-tinted glasses. I don't think he's in a position at this point in his career to do that, and especially top 3 in the East. I mean, with the way the East is right now, I mean, Detroit is getting better. Boston getting better. Jason Tatum's going to be back healthy for the entire season, and they're getting stronger. I mean, the Philadelphia 76ers, they got VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey. I mean, that is like one of the best 4 starters you could ask for in the NBA. Indiana is going to be competitive this year with Tyrese Halliburton back. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are coming back into the fold that weren't there last year. Like I said, with Indiana, yeah. I mean, Boston was second in the East for a lot of the season, but they weren't at full strength. Like, they had Jaylen Brown and Derek White and Peyton Pritchard going off, but they didn't have Jason Tatum back yet. They weren't fully healthy. Like, the East is going to be a lot better next season, and again, I just don't think a 42-year-old LeBron is going to be enough to will the Cavaliers into, like you said, a top 3 spot in the East. I hope that's the case. I wish that's the case. But like you mentioned, the depth on this team, you're going to be playing a lot of younger guys. Well, the vast majority of your younger guys are what? Jalen Tyson, who's 6'5", Tyrese Proctor, 6'5", the kid that we just drafted from Alabama. I mean, like all of these guys are 6'5" and shorter. You got no front court depth beyond maybe LeBron if he comes here, Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, and Thomas Bryant. That's it. That's all you got. So I just don't think that only adding LeBron at 42 gets you into a top 3 position in the East. Maybe you're like 5th or 6th, in my opinion, if you add LeBron and only LeBron.
You're sleeping on my guy Naquan Tomlin, by the way, in terms of the young guys. That's some size there for you. Let's talk about that for a second, right? Because I think the mentality is the biggest part in terms of bringing in LeBron, and I think that's what's going to change. And I don't think you're advocating right now for us not to just bring in LeBron, but I think you're completely fine with LeBron coming here, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, I would rather have him than not have him.
But you want more roster change. That's where you're at.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, you don't have any front court depth. It's a 42-year-old LeBron, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, and Thomas Bryant. Like you
and like, Naquan Tomlin.
Sorry, but like you got to give like Kobe. You got to give me more than that, man. Like you got to. Like Jonathan Kuminga, he's going to cost you a bag. Tell James Harden, take less, man. I don't care what you have to do. We got nobody. Do you want 42-year-old LeBron playing 44 minutes a night because we have nobody else who can play outside of maybe Jalen Tyson? I mean, that's where I'm at. Like I said, we need more. There has to be more. It just can't be LeBron.
And James Harden himself, I mean, it's been rumored that he is waiting to re-sign to help give the Cavs flexibility and all of that. So I don't think that's really an issue here. Mm-hmm. I do agree that we need more forward depth. Me and Eric just had a huge argument about the draft pick we had in the NBA draft because he sees the potential in a guard. And I'm like, we have so many guards at this point. There's only so much space for guards on this roster that I can't keep continuing to double down and say, it's fine. We're going to be fine because we're just drafting talent at the end of the day. So I get what you're saying. I want to turn the conversation back to LeBron because LeBron is the main talking point, right? We're positioning, it seems like, to bring him back between the move with Dean Wade, between the move with Keon Ellis, and we even had a local person. I'm not even going to say a media member, just a local individual reach out to ESPN Cleveland with his sources and talk about a potential meeting. And I want to just get our reaction from this clip.
I know for a fact that LeBron was here the last 7 to 10 days, and I'm not bringing up Oakley's name no more. I'm just going to say my sources have told me that Dan Gilbert and LeBron have met privately in a home for over 2 hours in the last 7 to 10 days.
7 to 10 days. They've met. Do you believe it whatsoever?
Well, I mean, obviously, if this caller is saying that it's true, it has to be true. And he forgot to mention that LeBron also bought a property in Strongsville. That he also forgot to mention that. Like, yeah, like, is there a possibility that LeBron met with Dan Gilbert while he's here in Akron, Ohio? Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. But like, what are we doing here with like taking callers and say, oh, my sources say that? Like, do you honestly think that this dude may have sources? Probably not. I don't know. But again, like, it's crazy to me how like somebody just says something and then it's like we automatically have to take it as truth without verifying whether this is like actual, coherent information. And again, like I said, I'm not surprised if LeBron and Dan Gilbert met. Wouldn't be shocked at all. But is this guy telling the truth? Probably not. And you could tell by Riz's reaction. The he's laughing while the guy's saying, like, according to my sources, that these guys met 7 to 10 times throughout the week. I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, fine. Like I said, they probably did meet. Don't listen to this guy.
You know what it comes down to me? I think it comes down to something like this, and this is what makes it funny for me. I could probably assume that you ate lunch today.
I did.
Right?
I did.
Yeah,
Yes.
you ate lunch today. All right, my
Okay.
sources have told me that you probably ate lunch today. This is what I mean. It's assumed because of where LeBron is right now, and especially with the free agency announcement. Like, I think a meeting or something like this could just be assumed at this point because there's interest out there. There's so much smoke about the Cavs being interested in a LeBron reunion, just as there is with the Warriors, just as there is with the Heat. But there's a ton of smoke, and he's here right now. So did Dan maybe take himself down to Akron and have a conversation with him, whether it was at a house, whether it was at Firestone, whether it was at LeBron's pool? Who cares where it is? Yeah, it probably could have happened, and maybe it wasn't Dan, maybe it was a member. Like, it's just like reaching and talking about something that's obvious at this point, like you eating lunch today. That is what I mean by this. And it's funny to me because it all ties up into a nice bow of feeling like it is 2020 or not. Jesus. It all ties up into a nice bow of feeling like it is 2015 all over again, where I'm refreshing Twitter, trying to track a plane, see what's going on with LeBron, because I want to know what's going on with LeBron Watch 2026 all over again, because I want to see him wear the wine and gold yet again.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, I mean, I keep refreshing to see what Chris Broussard is saying about LeBron, and you know what Jay Crawford is going to say on SportsCenter next. I keep refreshing that. Like you said, we're back in July of 2014. It's LeBron Watch. You know, this is what it's all about. This is what everybody has been looking forward to for the last 8 years since he's been away from Cleveland for the second time, and now we're back in it 100%. And I can't believe we're back here for a third time. It's so much fun. And I you know what? Maybe the guy's sources are correct. And I did actually hear this guy say that he did see Bill Belichick property searching with his girlfriend in Strongsville. And that there were talks about Peyton Manning visiting Berea with the Browns facility to maybe be in talks about getting a senior role in the Browns general manager spot. Just saying, I have my sources. I have ears on the ground and eyes, everywhere. But like I said, we could probably take this guy at face value.
Was Kirk Cousins at Chipotle again too, by the way?
He was at Chipotle. Thank you for reminding me. I did forget to mention that. He did ask for extra guac, which was, he has the money to spend that amount of money, on extra guac. But I did see him at Chipotle. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I got you, man. Benchwarmer, it is always a pleasure to have you on the show. Joke around, talk about what's going on. LeBron Watch continues. Make sure to check out At the Office for all of your needs in terms of the Cavaliers, the Browns, and of course, the Cleveland Guardians, because we're in season for that as well. Benchwarmer, let them know. Where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can go find me at YouTube at BenchWarmerSports. I'm also on Twitter at WarmBench. And then I'm also on TikTok where I post a lot of skits, a lot of different, reaction videos and that on my TikTok, BenchWarmerSports _. So those are basically the three main platforms you can find me on. But make sure you guys go give us all some love, like this video, subscribe to Noah and Eric's channel, subscribe over to my channel. We have a lot of fun. So thank you for inviting me on, Noah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Until next time, man, let's chat soon. And until next time, I'm going to hit Eric's outro. And hopefully Eric watches this and sees this till the end, because the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.